Welcome to this Elite Dangerous Dev Diary. Things continue to move very fast. They say a week's a long time in politics. Well, it's a long time in game development too, and we've moved forward on leaps and bounds, which is very exciting. Also, with summer's here, so no jumper on today. Hopefully you won't see any more of my infamous jumpers for a while, so let's hope the weather holds. Now, firstly, I'd like to talk about some exciting things going on here. As backers of Elite Dangerous, we want you to be the first to hear some news that will directly benefit the game. As you know, we've always planned to spend much more on Elite Dangerous than was raised by the Kickstarter campaign. And while we already had this cash, we are looking to the future, to other platforms and to where we go after the game is released. So to support our future plans, we have taken some investment from a range of high caliber investors who share our vision in wanting to help us make Elite Dangerous and the tech and tools behind it everything it can and should be. Going on to starships. Now, some of you will have seen pictures in the newsletter of the great big Imperial Cruiser ships, which I think I'd like to talk a little bit about. These are giant ships, giant warships, but they're also embassies. If you think of the period in the 1920s and 30s when HMS Hood toured the British Empire, what actually happened in practice is sort of cocktail parties, meetings happened on the ship, and sort of relationships were cemented. Dignitaries came on board, you know, they got the red carpet treatment. I imagine this sort of thing will happen in the Empire as well, where we have these ships which are part workman-like warship, part red carpet sort of embassy. And it's this sort of thing that's fed into the design. If, for example, you look at the back of the Imperial Cruiser, there's a giant circular section. Now, we've actually looked at these ships entirely from the function, you know, what bit does what. And the point is that internally rotates and provides artificial gravity, which is something that I think will be seen as a huge luxury in space travel. We said in Elite there is no artificial gravity. It's all created, or rather there is nothing that we don't understand today. It's all created by centripetal force, where when you rotate something, things are pulled to the outside. And it will feel like walking normally. And so that's how we see this ship. The ship, parts of the ship are extreme luxury, but in a warship that seems like a contradiction. But there are sort of historical precedents for that. Okay, so now to answer some forum questions. Firstly, you have a question from Shadowcat. Are the planets going to rotate and orbit relative to their sun? So the answer is yes, but they will orbit in real time, so very slow. We'll have some way of being able to see the orbits, so they will change successively, and you will get sort of glorious sunsets and eclipses and things like that. But you'll be carried around with it, if you see what I mean, much as you are in practice. You know, so it won't particularly affect gameplay. It will just be something that I think looks beautiful, if you like. So next question from Slorkenbergius. Will there be intrusive loading screens when docking with space stations, for example? Now, I can tell what answer you want, and the answer is exactly that. Absolutely not. The whole point is with this sort of thing is it must be seamless. You know, as you approach the docking bay, things will get larger. You'll gradually see inside. You'll be able to see other ships. There might be some sort of communications where you've got to get permission to come in. Other places will be much more relaxed and probably much more dangerous. But essentially there'll be no loading screens. You will see a landing bay. We have this working in game already, by the way, so that's why I'm confident about it. You land on a pad, and then you may choose to engage with trading or anything like that. But there will be no loading screens or whatever when you're docking. Okay, next question from Mike Snoss. Will the ranking system to gain elite status be expanded upon from the previous games? So, yes, the ranking system to elite status for combat will still be the same. So we'll have the same ranks, but how you get those ranks, there will be some changes, which I think have been discussed a little already, but we'll discuss a lot more going forward. But there will also be other ways to get elite status. So there will be concept of elite status in other dimensions, so trading can get you an elite status as a trader. And it's really to broaden and encourage other skills into the players. And also the Elite Federation of Pilots is a very interesting group because we've expanded that a little bit in the fiction, where they're a group who conduct things because people want the services of an elite pilot. That's for a future discussion. But the whole thing feeds in very, very strongly, in fact, to the whole title of the game. So I'm not going to spoil that. A lot of the people on the design forum will know some of this already. So, excellent. So next question from Marked Jones. Will we be able to name our ships? So, yes. How much relevance that has, other than being something that you can easily refer to, I don't think it will have a lot of relevance. In other words, things like ratings and all that sort of thing, you won't just be able to get rid of by changing the name of your ship. But I think the name of a ship is very important to people, and so yes, of course, you will be able to name it. Okay, and final question from FS3D Pete. Frontier had NPCs who gave you missions, but they were always a one-off. Will Elite Dangerous give you the chance to meet the same NPC more than once? And will you be able to interact in ways that don't involve the bulletin board? Okay, so 2 questions there. So firstly, NPCs, non-player characters. Yes, you'll be able to meet the same NPC more than once. And you'll be able to interact in ways that don't involve the bulletin board. So going into that in a little bit more detail, because it's easy just to give that answer. I mean, obviously for some missions you'll have to return to get the reward for doing that, so you'll inevitably meet the same character more than once. But also, I always felt quite uncomfortable the way in Frontier that you could just trade illegal items in sort of through the bulletin board or whatever in the full sight of everybody. In Elite Dangerous, we want that to be earned. So this is a reward. You get more trusted in a place, and you can build up a reputation in a place to be trustworthy trading such goods. Sort of a bit like I think it would be. I'm sure it would be the case in modern times if someone were trading anything illegal. Here, you've got to be trusted that you're not a cop or whatever, and so the same will apply here. And ideally, you will build up a reputation with a particular local faction with whom you're trading, and get a reputation that yes, you can, I don't know, smuggle brandy into a place where alcohol is illegal. Much like a lot of the prohibition in the US in the 1930s. Okay, so that's the questions from the forums. Thank you everybody who've posed questions. There'll be more questions coming. Thank you very much for supporting Elite Dangerous. It's a fantastic ride. We're really going places. So I look forward to speaking to you on the next Dev Diary. Thank you everybody very much.